Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stos. Trust pervades in every aspect of our lives. In the past 4 sessions, we've talked about different types of trust. Number 1 is the power of trust and how trust has such an impact in our lives, in our businesses, in our relationships, and in our country today. Second, we talked about trust starting with ourselves, that we have to really trust ourselves first to be able to extend trust to others. Third, we talked about rebuilding trust, that maybe there's some relationships out there that the trust isn't as strong as it used to be, and how can we rebuild that? And finally, we talked about building a trust-based environment. If we can have an environment, a culture full of trust, that of course extends out to others as well, and it makes our employees feel very engaged. How can you commit to trust and spending time on building trust? You know, when we look at our relationships and we look at our businesses, we think about how we expect our clients and customers to trust us, but we really have to have that environment of trust built first inside. And that's our job as managers and leaders, to get everyone internally in a trusting environment, so then we can extend that externally to our clients, and they feel it and they see it and they see our commitment to trust. Another startling survey response was Towers & Perkins did a survey on trust with individuals of what they call junior employees who make $50,000 or less a year. And 44% of them said they do not trust what their employer says. And that's a little startling when you think about 44% of them not trusting their employer and what their employer says, that we really have to do a better job as leaders and managers to create that environment and to commit to trust. Because that's just going to continue, decreasing if we really don't spend time focusing on this number. So how can we do that, and what's the importance of it? So just today we're going to do a summary of a few things and just embellish a few additional pieces of trust. I want you to think about, again, trust is not just a soft skill, which sometimes we think about it as, but it's really an economic driver. We've seen lots and lots of results on surveys and business impact around the impact it does build in business in terms of the better results that we get financially and returns and engagement of our employees because of that trust. So I'm going to focus today on the trust formula. And some of you may have read The Trusted Advisor, and this is their work. And it's really thinking about just how do we pull that whole trust piece together and keep it as a reminder. So trust equals C plus R plus I divided by S. So what does C stand for? C stands for credibility. Credibility is about the words that we say. We need to be credible with the words that we say. Do they believe what we say? That's such a key important part of trust. Second is reliability. And reliability is about the actions that we take. So when you think about, am I reliable? Do I follow through on what I say? Am I reliable for every commitment that I make to them? And we know sometimes we can't be, but we need to follow up and at least communicate to them. So of course that reliability is a very important part of the trust equation. And finally, I is for intimacy. This is about the emotional part, okay? These are about the emotions. Are we able to have our client open up and share things with, or our employees share things with us? Will they share those private things, those concerns, those fears, those worries, those dreams? That's really what that means. And then S is about self-orientation. And that's really around your motive. What is your motive? What is this about? Is this about you, or is this about them? We have to remember, when we're building trusting relationships, this isn't about us. This is about them. They need to know that we are acting on their best behalf and that they can trust us, and they know what we say we'll do, and they'll know that it's acting on their best behalf and not ours. So when you think about this whole trust equation, it's very essential to really think about putting this in action, and how we can commit to this is maybe breaking it down into each of these pieces that makes it more simple for us to really take a look at every day. Trust affects 2 measurable outcomes in our business that are essential to us in our everyday decision making: time and money. And we know when trust goes down, time goes down and money goes up, right? Our speed goes down and it costs more. So we know that building that trust, it's a multiplier effect for us. It's an advantage. And you may not think it's an advantage, but if we don't have it, it's definitely an advantage. When we know we can build that trust and save time and gain more money, it's going to be better at the long term for everyone. So I want you to think about trust and what that means for you and how you can commit to that first individually and as a leader to see what does trust mean to build that team. I'd like to share a quote with you from Stephen Covey. Nothing is as fast as the speed of trust. Nothing is as inspiring as the offering of trust. As leaders, we have to be the ones to work and build and inspire that trust. So for Positive Charge this week, I'd really like you to think about what can you do to commit to trust. I just want you to write 2 things down today that you're going to do to commit to trust. Whether it's evaluating the trust formula or something that you're going to do in your environment, what will you as a leader do to think about your commitment to trust, whether that's in individual relationships, our business, or any other environment that you're in. Your brand is your trust, and every interaction that we have builds or breaks our brand. So take some time to commit to trust, to continue building your personal brand and your brand of your organization. Thanks for joining us, and remember to get your mind on.